What do we do after? Oh. So I didn't use these words right yesterday. I used this to mean that the ego had detached from itself rather than the ego attacking itself, it's attacking others. That's clearly not what this word means. I think all I really had to do yesterday in that video was just get across what sadomasochism was, and I did. It's just I used some words incorrectly. So I don't know if that's just good old-fashioned memory loss or aphasia like I think it is, but yeah. Well, topic, sadomasochism. Why? Well, because it is my belief that our government's being run by one. What does it mean to be a sadomasochist? Yesterday, I started with what a masochist was. Because once you understand what a masochist is, then we can define what a sadomasochist is. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is the prefix. A masochist is simply someone who is trying to do damage to the self, ego axis. It derives pleasure from harming the self, and this can come out in all kinds of ways. Self-harm, easiest examples to me, especially when I went through high school, and it was even, I think there were cases when I went through high school, it's just my memory's fuzzy right now, was cutting, razor blades. But self-harm doesn't just have to be little physical self-harm, like hitting your head against the wall. We kind of see that in Adam Sandler's Longest Yard with one of those inmates. But it can come out in the form of maybe you're just trying to put yourself into a really rough financial position. And it's not a matter of wanting to do this, it's a matter of compulsion. Now, what I just said is a bit of a gray area, but hopefully we got down what it means to be a masochist. You're essentially, if we can just use frank Freudian terms, because the way he chose to apply symbols and objects onto things, Freud got it right. So if we were to use Freud words, a masochist is trying to fuck himself. A sadomasochist trying to fuck or eat everyone else. Pretty simple in Freud words, I would say. But if we're going to start using the fancy jargon we have today, a sadomasochist is essentially trying to derive pleasure, and a lot of them in the form of sexual sadism. Using that as an example, trying to achieve sexual gratification by degrading the other person. And that concept wasn't new to me. Like I said, I've been the target of that. My family members have been the target of that. What didn't make sense to me yesterday was deriving that similar kind of pleasure. Like, what didn't make sense to me yesterday is how a person could derive pleasure from simply causing chaos. And like I said, that one was truly strange to me. Like, I didn't understand how. I don't want to use demonizing words anymore. I think sadomasochism and masochism kind of are their own stigmas. But really just trying to get to the core of what this is, how it behaves, and why, without shedding like this is evil, this is onto it. If we're really trying to get a grip on how this pathology is working, how do we do that? So It is my attempt to begin to assign theta functions or theta values to these kinds of orderings of the mind and proclivities and desires, wants, whatever. But that's very much a work in progress. Now, as opposed to where we are and trying to understand what it is to derive pleasure and sexual gratification from simply instilling chaos. Like I said, that one was truly strange. So Googled that with everyone yesterday. It was a little bit less strange that sometimes, and I'm going to use frank terms, but don't, I want to say perverse. Like this condition can get so perverse or so disordered. I don't know how to use the words right now, but it can get so bad. Like that the clustering and the ordering goes from not just wanting to harm women and children in a sexual way and sadomasochism, but simply trying to instill environments of chaos, because now that is the only way we can get off. And I'm just like, it's as if the limits of this are essentially being exponentially expanded. So that one's gonna take a bit for me still. But then again, does it really need to take a bit for you when you start simply going outside and looking around you? So I don't know. I guess that's all I really wanted to hash out. Hopefully it doesn't sound like gobbledygook. I really don't edit my videos, but I think this one will be good enough to pass for YouTube. Thanks for stopping by.